Well, Dave, I think it's more or less the usual first question where we start the interviews is COVID and the situation with injuries. Obviously, you got one or two injuries late on again at the weekend. Just bring us up to date with the likes of Luke Murphy, Scott Robertson, Scott Casket, first of all, the injured players.
They should all be fine for Saturday. They're all nursing niggles. Well, I'm hopeful they'll all be right for Saturday.
That's a good boost for you. Now, obviously, you lost Zach Williams and Donovan Daniels with a little bit of the COVID symptoms. Is that, again, going to be clear by the weekend?
Yes, Donovan trained yesterday for the first time. He's in today. Zach will be in, I think it's tomorrow. Yes, it is tomorrow. He's had I don't want to say any more than that, but he'll be in tomorrow.
The good thing is that those three injured players, are real close now, because it was really, not saying down to the bare bones, because it's not fair on those young lads who are pushing to become professional footballers. But in terms of experience, you were very light last time out, weren't you?
Yeah, I don't think anyone would have predicted that team back in that 18 back in August. That's for sure. Listen, that's where we're at. It is what it is at the minute. We're working hard to get players back fit, and we're working hard to bring players into the football club, and with every passing day that gets easier. So we're hopeful that was the sort of worst it could be, but then we all also know that we're only ever one training session away from disaster, as we experienced before both Lincoln and Sheffield Wednesday. So we'll count our lucky stars, and that everyone stays fit and is available for the games going forward.
I'm going to start again talking about players and different things like players you've got coming back. It is January transfer window. There's been a story breaking up again on social media about his centre forward Mick Mandron. What's the situation with him with his contract?
He's coming to the end of his contract.
Is there a contract on the table? The report's saying he's turned your contract down. I don't know whether he has or whether he hasn't. Where are you with the contract details for him?
We offered him a contract 2 months ago, something like that, and his agent said that it wasn't the right time to sign it. I'm not sure if that means turning it down or not. The bottom line is he's not signing it at the minute, so that's where we're at.
I suppose in a way you're dealing with all sorts of things now. You've grown right into being an experienced manager. It's no surprise, is it? He's a leading scorer last year. He's a leading scorer at the moment, and nobody can question his application for you and how he goes about his job.
No, he's done great for us. He's done great for us. So I understand it. It fits the profile that a lot of people look for. Tall, athletic. Don't get me wrong, he should score more goals, not less goals. He should definitely score more goals. So, there's things for him to work on. I think he enjoys it here. I think he likes what we are, who I am, and we'll keep working with him. And if he signs his contract, which we hope he does, then great. If he doesn't, then we'll find better than him in the summer.
Where are you now then, as you reach day 18 of the January window, Dave? We spoke after the game Saturday. You were pretty confident. Is it just getting a little bit of a worry that nothing's come through the door yet, or are you confident it's going to happen for you?
No. We're confident. There's reasons why that I won't go into today, but it'll all become clear once they get over the line.
The one thing you said last week, that you'd set the players' targets. I should imagine now where you are, 4 points from safety. You've closed the gap, not closed it enough, but that's got to be one of those targets, is it? Right near the top. That as you reach the final third of the season, you're in that real group. Yeah,
look, we went adrift after the first 15 games, but we certainly wasn't in a comfortable position. And we knew that this middle third of the season, if we had as poor a middle third as the first third, we wouldn't have a chance in the last third. So we needed to improve, and I think we are doing. And we're getting closer. We're still not where we want to be, but we've got to make sure that we continue to improve. And if we continue to improve, then, you know, if we keep getting better as the season progresses, then, you know, that's all you can ask. You hope then that by the end of the season you're good enough to beat most teams, as opposed to at the start of the season not good enough to beat any team. I'm not saying that's where we are and that's where we're going to end up, but that's the plan. And you know, I think that's bearing fruit. It's taking time, but then development does take time. And where we started from, you know, losing lots of players in the summer, 4 of them in August, that'll test any team if it's 4 starters, and it'll certainly test us with our resources. So, you know, we've had to cajole and coach and develop very quickly a lot of players, give them time and support. And I think we're now seeing more fruits of that labour, although there will be blips. We saw a blip at Burton, for example, and I'm sure there'll be blips between now and the end of the season, but we've got to make sure that they're limited and interspersed rather than the norm, which is what it probably was in the start of the season. So, you know, our performances are improving, and if our performances keep improving and or even maintain the same, then we're going to give ourselves a great chance of not just closing the gap, but surpassing that, and surpassing it easily as well.
You said that, you know, you've got to learn quickly. You're very proud, as all the football club are as well, that you had 13 of the 18-match squad from your own academy. But they're there on merit. I know you were down in numbers, but what will this sort of stage of their career do for them? Because some of your players who are in that squad have been out on loan and done fine and improved. Some of them haven't done quite as well and found themselves in your first year. I'm not pointing fingers at the players like, well, the likes of Josh Lundstrom and Regan Griffiths and even Tyrese Oniki went away to non-league clubs and just found it difficult, but all of a sudden they're with you. So put that all together, what does that do for them in their careers going forward?
Well, you've got to remember that development isn't linear, and when we take boys from Premier League clubs, certainly as first loans, it's very difficult for them to do well. And some of our boys going into a different environment also find it tough, even though it's accepted, not by me and not by the staff, but it's accepted by the large majority that they should do well because they're going 3 or 4 or 5 leagues lower. Well, that's not always the case, because they get to see the hustle and bustle of first team football. They get to see the incessant nature of the game, Saturday, Tuesday. They haven't experienced any of that. They get to see what it means to win to other people. They get to see different coaching methods. So when all that's thrown at them, it's, you know, some players do take a while to come to terms with all that and sort of work it all out in their brain exactly what they are and who they are. Now, obviously, when any player that's been out from this football club and not done great, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that it's terminal at this football club or anything like that. It means your next loan or your next opportunity in the first team, have you learned? That's the question. And invariably they have, because everything like that you've got to learn from. So you know, you take Tyrese. He played a couple of games at Matlock and didn't get in. Then he's gone to Stalybridge and he's done okay. And then suddenly he ends up on the first team pitch. Is it because he set the world alight at them clubs? No, he didn't. He said so himself, and the managers told me that he hadn't as well. That's not criticism. That's just how they saw it in their opinion. That doesn't mean necessarily it's terminal for him. He's got to improve, and he's got to keep improving. And if he does, then great. If he doesn't, then don't expect to play. Don't expect to be the football club. So, you know, you could say that with a whole host of players. A whole host of players. Billy Davis needed 4 or 5 loan spells. Willie Escalante had 6, I think. You know, you've got to give them time and understand that they're on the right track. And sometimes us as staff will make a decision that they're not on the right track, or they're not learning fast enough. Others, one loan spell, bang, straight here and into the team because they've already got it. They've already worked it all out. There's no, like I said, there's no right and wrong. It's certainly not linear. It's not very often linear, that's for sure. And we've got to make sure that we provide a platform, whether it be in our first team, someone else's first team, or on the training pitch. And if we do that, then they've got every chance of succeeding. And if they don't, then we will have all, the player and the staff, will have all tried our hardest to make it happen, and they'll have to apply their trade elsewhere. But they'll go with as much development in them as we could have put in them, and with our best wishes.
Just looking ahead to, I know it's a few days away, but let's just have a quick look ahead to Cambridge. They've set themselves well in League One and enjoying a good cup run as well, Dave. It's one of those games again away from home where you have to be on your mettle and hopefully come back with another 3 points. Yeah, look, Cambridge is never easy. Mark's got them, set up well organised, hard to beat, hard to break down. So we know that it's going to be a tough game. They've got some good players. They've got some effective players. They all know their jobs. And you've got to remember they're coming off the back of a successful season last year, so morale's high as well. So when you factor all that in, it's going to be a tough trip. However, having said that, they are beatable. Every team in this league is beatable. I'm not trying to be critical of Cambridge. And we've got to make sure we exploit their weaknesses. And if we do, then we've got a great chance of winning the game.